What's up, YouTube? Welcome to the Celtic Clydesdale show. I'm Jim and I am the Celtic Clydesdale. Today's episode, I'm not going to be doing a review, and although you might find it somewhat motivational, it's not meant to be, honestly. What we're going to talk about is cycling shoes, the different types of cycling shoes, tiny little discussion about cleats, and like I said, the differences between the different types of shoes and why you should get them. All right, so let's get into that. All right, there's three basic types of shoes for cycling. All right, and they're going to be your mountain biking shoes, which are going to be built quite a bit differently from your road biking and your triathlon shoes. All right, now your mountain biking shoes could also be used some for like cyclocross or for gravel riding, whereas your road and triathlon shoes, you could sort of interchange those. Well, you really could interchange those quite a bit, but I wouldn't recommend using either of those for any like rough terrain riding. All right, especially if you have to hop on the bike and run or walk with the bike or anything like that. They're really not built for that. All right, so let's get some exhibits. Yeah, let's do that. All right, exhibit A. Mountain biking shoe. This particular pair is a Shimano MT41. Shimano MT41. This is a really old mountain biking shoe that I bought, I don't know, somewhere in 2001, 2002. And to be honest with you, up until I think 2016, maybe 2017, I use these for pretty much everything. All right. And the reason was I originally got these when I had my mountain bike, so I could clip in on mountain bike rides when I was living in Hawaii. And then when I bought my racing bike, I was just too cheap to buy another pair of shoes. So I used the same sort of pedals and cleat on my racing bike that I used on my mountain bike. And I did all my racing bike riding with the same shoes. All right. Now, the side effect there was, these are some heavy shoes. All right, so I don't know, I probably wasn't doing as efficiently on the road bike as I really could have, but it was better than not being clipped into the bike at all. So yeah, now with mountain biking shoes, a lot of times you're going to see the cleat is going to be recessed. You see, if I hold this, you can't see, when I roll it, you can see it there, but yeah, you can't see the cleat at all. Now that's designed so that when you get off the bike and you're walking, the cleat's not just out there and throwing you off. All right, so now there are different sorts of cleats for mountain biking. The most popular out there is going to be Shimano's SPD cleat, which is what I have here. But you also see some that are referred to as egg beaters, because they look like, if you remember the hand mixers with the paddles, they look like sort of like those. And there's also speed plays, which a lot different. All right, speed plays are pretty common on road bikes as well. But yeah, those are mountain biking shoes. Again, the shoes for these are, well, this particular pair is fairly heavy. A lot of mountain biking shoes will be relatively heavy. They are designed to get off the bike and do some hoofing it. And a lot of times with the sole, there's going to be some flex with the sole to allow for that walking, but they're still pretty stiff, so you get maximum power transfer to the pedal. All right. Yeah, mountain biking shoes, good for cyclocross and gravel riding. And yeah, let's move on. Next exhibit, tri shoes. Sorry, I don't own a pair of road shoes, otherwise I'd show you some, but these are my tri shoes. This particular pair is a Pro Izumi Tri-Fly Octane 3. I specifically bought these because they're this bright orange color, my favorite color. And yeah, so now with these, Typically with a road shoe and a tri shoe, you're going to have a large format cleat. In this instance, I use the Shimano SPD SL cleats. See, radical difference. One major difference is the smaller form factor cleats have 2 bolts that hold them on, whereas the large form factors typically have 3 bolts. And you will have to know what cleat system you're using, you plan to use to select a shoe, because not all the shoes will have bolt holes that will accept one or the 2 bolt form factor or 3 bolt form factor. A lot of them will be one or the other. All right. Now, there's a company called Look, which they're probably got the most popular road cleats. Also a 3 bolt large form factor. Slightly different cleat setup from the Shimanos, but very similar. And I don't think they're compatible with each other at all. All right. And of course, you got a lot of people use speed plays and whatnot on road bikes and triathlon bikes. It's just, I don't honestly think there's a lot of difference really across all the different pedal types. But I can tell you that for the large form factor cleats, the pedals themselves are a lot bigger. And for me, and I would assume for most larger athletes, it gives you a more sure footing, especially when you're out of the saddle, like for a climbing situation or whatnot. Whereas on a mountain bike, a gravel bike or whatnot, the smaller form factor is a little bit better because it's out of the way, less likely to catch on stuff. All right, so now I will say differences between road shoes and tri shoes. A lot of time road shoes are not going to have like vents on the bottom, and they're not going to be just wide open mesh on the top. All right. Also, triathlon shoes typically designed to be worn without socks, whereas road shoes not necessarily so. All right. Now, the reason tri shoes are designed with vents on the bottom is you come out of the water, you get right in your shoes. All right. Your feet are still wet and whatnot. This lets any water get out of there. All right. And you get a lot of cooling to your foot too, which is why I don't ride with these in the winter. But yeah, other differences between your tri shoes and road shoes is typically a tri shoe is going to have a hook and loop closure like this, whereas road shoes are typically going to have like a ratcheting closure. And you'll notice the mountain biking shoes I had, they actually lace up, and there's also a hook and loop strap that goes across, just to get a little bit extra snugness, I should say. I can't speak. But anyway, now, huge differences between mountain bike and road and tri shoes. You'll notice the bottom of this, you got a little heel pad here for walking, and you'll notice the cleat has these pads. These are designed to take force of a walk, but you'll notice the sole of the shoe itself is not so much designed for walking. All right. The other thing, those mountain bike shoes, the outsole is actually made of a really stiff rubber, whereas for this particular pair of tri shoes, it's carbon fiber. All right. And typically you'll either see, both with road shoes and with tri shoes, you're either going to see a really stiff plastic or carbon fiber for the bottom, for the outsole. All right. Again, the whole idea is maximum transfer to the pedals, which obviously if you've got a less stiff rubber sole that flexes some, you lose a little bit of power transfer. Whereas with something like carbon fiber, I mean, these things don't bend. All right. Not flexing. Maximum power transfer. So yeah, those are your 3 basic types of cycling shoes. Obviously, like I said, you got the larger cycling shoes that are used for mountain biking, cyclocross, or gravel riding. And you've got your road and tri shoes, road tri shoes, lighter versions, much stiffer outsoles, and tri-shoes, well vented and designed to be worn without socks, whereas most of the others pretty much designed to be worn with socks. So there's cycling shoes and my take on cycling shoes. So I'm gonna go ahead and close this thing out. All right, so there we have it. A little bit about cycling shoes. Hopefully you learned something and you were mildly entertained. If so, do me a favor, give me that thumbs up. Hit me up in the comments. Let me know what you thought about this particular episode. Give me some ideas for future episodes, or just chat it up with me. All right, now if you're new to the channel or you just haven't done so already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you get notified when I upload. Try to upload on Wednesday evenings, East Coast time. So yeah, until next time, keep on keeping on.